I, was responsible early on the first couple of years doing mobile monitoring work, so air monitoring.
We're going on a ride with environmental consultant Tim Doty. He's a former air quality expert with the TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, whose job it is to monitor oil and gas pollution in Texas. Doty is taking me on a tour of the oil-saturated rolling plains of Karnes County, southeast of San Antonio.
And then became the large project leader, which I managed, 15 to 20 people.
Doty led the state's environmental agency's efforts to police oil and gas polluters for 25 years. He says he left his job in 2018 after it became clear the oil and gas industry, the polluters themselves, had more influence over top regulatory officials than he did.
Just looking at this from one angle.
Today, Doty is an environmental consultant for Earthworks who still patrols the oil fields looking for polluters using his infrared camera.
Well, the camera shows me that the flare on the left over here, the taller one, is constantly, continuously leaking hydrocarbon, including methane, which is a greenhouse gas.
Is it supposed to be doing that?
No.
Our first stop is Marathon Oil's East Karnes County processing plant, where for the third time in a week, Doty recorded images of multiple flare stacks releasing raw methane into the air.
All I know is we have a continuous emission source sitting here that this is not combusting. That is not the way that it's supposed to be operating. And the TCEQ doesn't appear to be doing its job, right? Because this is just, again, one instance here in Karnes County, right? How many other instances are like this in Karnes County?
Then Doty discovers even more methane leaking from fuel storage tanks.
The stream up here to the top left, uncombusted hydrocarbon, majority methane. And then we have all these emissions here, right, are coming out of it. See all that movement along those tank wall? See all this movement off of that back tank back there?
Yeah.
All hydrocarbon, all uncombusted, majority methane.
What does that do to the environment?
Well, it causes, it's a greenhouse gas. It causes global warming, right? Climate change.
Just a few miles away, we stop at another Marathon Oil processing plant. The situation is the same. One flare spewing volumes of methane and a taller stack with, at first, only a tiny flame.
It is lit. Now it's lit.
What do you think just happened there?
They got a shot of pressure and a shot of gas. But holy moly, you should see what's coming out of there.
Tell me what's coming out of there.
That's uncombusted hydrocarbon.
And again, an additional inspection reveals more gases escaping from flare stacks and storage tanks all over the property.
I mean, it's just out of control, right? Emissions pouring off of this tank battery, going from right to left off on the horizon. I mean, not one tank, not one pressure relief valve. The entire thing is engulfed in hydrocarbon.
Just weeks later, Doty filed a complaint with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality against 37 oil and gas processing facilities in 3 regions. Of the 2 Marathon plants that we visited, Doty alleged hydrocarbon is being emitted continuously under high pressure and emissions are out of control. We asked Marathon Oil to discuss the allegations with us on camera. They declined, but provided a statement saying Marathon Oil recognizes the impact of greenhouse gas and other air emissions on global climate and air quality. That's why we carry out our operations, prioritizing environmental, social, and governance excellence. The emissions referenced in the complaint are permitted, and during the follow-up inspection performed by the TCEQ, no violations were cited. The TCEQ says it investigated all of Doty's 37 complaints against 23 companies. Their findings resulted in 11 notices of violations, 1 agreed order to make repairs, and 1 plant was fined $6,000. Both Marathon facilities we visited were not among the violators. Most of Doty's visually documented complaints were either unfounded or resulted in only a warning.
I mean, I think it's pathetic, but it's not surprising to me. I mean, I was on the inside of this agency for 28 plus years on the mobile and did the mobile monitoring and managed that program. So I saw a lot of the end results back in those days. And the TCEQ, in my opinion, does not have a strong compliance and enforcement program.
Spectrum News 1 reached out to a number of operators to try to get an understanding of the environmental difficulties they face in drilling and processing oil and gas. No one wanted to talk on the record. Jack McDonald, along with Sharon Wilson of Earthworks, co-authored the study Flaring in Texas, a comprehensive government failure. McDonald says he's not surprised at TCEQ's passive approach to enforcement.
Tells me that the violation system that currently exists just is not effective. And I think the reason for that is because the TCEQ and the Railroad Commission have deprioritized fining operators. So oftentimes them getting a violation does little more than just alert them that people are watching them. It doesn't result in any financial penalties or any real change because there's no motivation.
When we shared that allegation with the TCEQ, they declined to respond. Another facility investigated by Doty, this one outside of Kennedy, Texas, with a history of dozens of complaints, some of them filed by the family living right next door.
Our faith just stands on God to keeping us safe every night, me and him, because you never know. You never know what's coming out of that plant.
Their story of sickness and sorrow when we come back.